After spending over 1.5 million on Facebook and Instagram ads, my go-to is a lead generation campaign using an instant form. And I wouldn't spend the majority of my advertising budget on this campaign objective if it wasn't very profitable for me. Yet, I see a lot of people having hesitation around using this campaign objective. It's either because they never used it and they just heard people saying that it's a low lead quality, or because they have used it, got great cost per lead, but then struggled to convert those leads into buyers. This is the issue that I want to help you solve with this video. I brought you an example of a winning lead generation ad that is an example for what does something that gets you low cost per lead look like. And I want to show you how to transform it into an ad that gets you the right type of lead and pre-frames and pre-nurtures so that you can convert quicker. That's what we're going to be doing in this video. Now let's jump right in. First things first, let's make sure you all understand what I'm talking about. Campaign objective is what you select when you create a new Facebook campaign. I don't want to talk about all of them. My primarily go-to campaigns are leads or sales if I want to drive sales within a reasonable amount of time, right? I sometimes do brand stuff up here, but really when I want to focus on growing quicker, I will use leads or sales. Facebook's campaign objectives are organized, funnel down a customer's journey, right? So the further down we are, the higher quality the audience that we're getting in front of. People that we can reach with a sales campaign, especially the one optimizing for purchase, they are very actively searching for or already buying offers like ours, which is also why this is the most expensive campaign objective, right? So our CPM, our cost per mil, how much we need to pay to reach 1,000 people is significantly higher here than it is here with the leads. And of course, for example, all the way up here with awareness of traffic or engagement, this is a lot lower CPM, right? So this is the cheapest people. Now, why do I love to go for leads? Because it is people that are already in market for the type of offer that we have. And I find that it really takes a very long time to nurture people from here all the way down to the sale versus when you're doing it right with the leads, you can get people there a lot quicker, but you still get a super decent discount on your eyeball. Okay, so this is why I love to use the leads campaign and I love to use it with instant forms. Now, don't get me wrong, a sales campaign absolutely has its place in time. And it's not like you're picking one against the other, right? It's not like this old fight, organic or ads. Like both work really well in conjunction. Like you should try to nail both if you can. But if you can only focus on one, if you have limited capacity, restricted resources, then I would here recommend go with leads, just like I would recommend go with paid reverse organic instead of trying to nail both, right? So leads is more budget friendly, and while it requires more effort to nurture down here, it also is less risky because here we're getting an email address. With the sale, we don't necessarily get anything. We get a higher volume of people and we can re-reach them for free as we are refining our offerings, right? So this is basically building you a research lab as well. Sales campaigns directly also have their purpose. And if it's not driving immediate ROAS, it at least is to optimize your offer against cold traffic. And that in itself can be super valuable as in accelerating how quickly you can shape your offer. That's a topic for another video. Right now, I just want to say, what would I focus on if I wanted to make this come down here as quickly as possible? So I brought you an example here in Canva. So this is actually inspired by one of my student examples, and what I'm sharing with you in this video is inspired by a 4-hour coaching call I just had in Grow with Evelyn. I see a lot of my students getting insanely low cost per lead, right? So we'll probably be able to bring some of the results for the leads up on the screen. Yet, converting those leads often can be a whole nother challenge, especially if all the nuances were not implemented correctly. So what do I mean by that? With advertising, the devil really lies in the details. And this is also a reason why I don't advocate for, using ChatGPT right away to write your ad copy and then just slamming it up on Facebook and putting your money behind it, because there's so much thought that goes into your ad copy. On my last ads workshop that I had for a limited time for free on YouTube, we actually went in detail into what it all takes to write really, really good copy. And there's a lot of thinking that goes into it. And if you're just slamming something up with ChatGPT, the result that you get might be decent from a cost per lead, but you might struggle to convert those people further. And the reason is that you not created the right filter and you didn't psychologically prime your lead for the offer that's to come. Okay, so in this video, I want to show you one versus the other. And I didn't want to reveal the exact freebie and member. So I tried to rebuild something that's along those lines. So here is an example of a strategic freebie that will perform really well with ads, but then not convert into, for example, a membership like it was in that case. So here's free download, learning to read worksheets for kids. And the ad copy here is struggle to keep your little one engaged while learning to read. Our learning to read worksheet makes it simple, fun, and stress-free. Phonics and sight word practice, engaging stories and activities, perfect for pre-K early readers, instant download, turn reading time into fun time, and watch your child's confidence grow. Grab your printable worksheets now. So what I wanted to tell you about this, right? When I looked into it, I was really surprised that the follow-up offer of this was a homeschooling membership. Now, me just showing you this, take a step back. Would you have guessed that we are trying to attract people that are a good fit for a homeschooling membership? No, right? Because while this is a super helpful resource for a homeschooling mom, this is not a filter for only homeschooling moms, and especially the ones that are a good fit for a membership. Now, here's the problem. Most of you think that we solve the lead quality through targeting. Most of you think that in here, we just have to now type in homeschool or homeschooling is a primary interest, and then we will get people that are interested in homeschooling on our email list. This is not how Facebook's targeting works at all anymore. Just because we have selected these interests, it does not mean that we actually will, first off, getting only people that are interested in this, especially because Facebook's default now is Advantage Plus, right? But even if we were to switch back to the original audience settings, this still would, and then Facebook tries to trick us again into expanding our audience. Yes, those people are interested in homeschooling, but that can mean a lot of things. They could have bought something in an Etsy store that also has a homeschooling tag, and now suddenly they're falling into this container, right? It is not clear enough of a filter to only attract the right type of people. Your ad, visual, and copy need to do the job as well. And they also need to do a few more things. What needs to happen? Here's the second example, right? Doesn't seem like a big difference, makes all the difference in the world. Okay, why? Look at this. First off, the visual. The first touch point of your ad is always the visual, so this is why we have to start there. Instead of free download, we say worksheets for homeschoolers. Immediate filter. This is for homeschoolers. We are immediately repelling people that are not homeschoolers, and still some will opt in, but we're doing a better job calling out our audience. Now I have reading, but make it fun and natural. Why did I do this? Well, because the actual offer, the membership that this member had to offer was about unschooling, which is a specific philosophy of homeschooling. We need to prime for that in our ad copy as well. I'm hooking in above the fold. My above the fold of the ads is before people have to click on read more. So my above the fold here is this, right? So I immediately need to make it clear on this ad. And by the way, you're now, oh, there's nothing on this ad. Yes, before people click here, they see what ads are working right now to sell coaching, paid communities, and courses. And they also see free ads workshop for coaches and personal brands, right? So they see who this is for, even on a lifestyle ad like this. And by the way, I love to use lifestyle ads like this because they help us with personal brand building if that's your goal. But this is above the fold. So above the fold, immediately, we need to call out our audience again. You wanted homeschooling to feel natural and free, but somehow teaching reading becomes a daily battle filled with frustration for you and your kid. Okay, because the goal is to upsell into an unschooling membership, we want to say, who is our ideal client? The one who wanted homeschooling to feel free and natural. And so the reading worksheets become a vehicle into talking to this person directly. And if this person is not the best fit, they again will be a little bit repelled by our copy. So the chances that they opt in, they become lower. Okay, you wanted homeschooling to feel natural and free, but somehow teaching reading has become a daily battle filled with frustration for you and your child. Now, very important, I always recommend introduce yourself in your ad. This is the first touch point that you have with the customer. So this is an example here. I made this person up. Hi there, I'm Anna Wilder. I'm an unschooling mom of three, a former curriculum chaser, and now I help other moms break free from stress of doing it right and lean into what actually works for their unique child. Oh, okay, this is this person. That's why I created these gentle, open-ended reading worksheets designed specifically for unschooling families, right? So I'm dropping the idea I'm planting the seed of unschooling, because I want the people who have either not heard of it before, but because of the way it is, they have partial familiarity, right? They kind of get that it's a concept. Or I want to have the people that have a vague concept, so there's intrigue, right? So I want to build up the intrigue. I want to plant the seed for the offer later on. No rigid lessons, no one size fits all phonic drills, just playful, curiosity sparking reading activities that invite exploration. And the best part, they're completely free. Because when we stop forcing it, learning happens in the most unexpected and beautiful ways. Grab your free workshops now and see the difference for yourself. Can you now see how this will already filter and pre-prime in a very, very different way? And yes, our cost per lead might even be a little bit higher here. But if we have not at least filtered, we have primed. And so this is what I want you to understand about the ads. But this is not where it stops. Because of it being so easy with ChatGPT, right? And everybody is giving you prompts for this. We also have stopped thinking through, like, how do we continue the conversation from the ad? Okay, so here's what your standard welcome email would look like. Your reading worksheets are here. Emojis in the subject lines, although they can sabotage your deliverability, but that's a personal pet peeve, so don't do that. Hey, first name, or hi there. Your gentle reading worksheets are ready. Click below to download them and start exploring reading in a way that feels natural and pressure-free for your kid. This is what the person would already say, even though people are opting in from here, from the generic. So now people are like, what? Why is this important? I didn't even know like what we're doing here, right? What's next? I know firsthand how overwhelming it can feel to teach reading without relying on rigid enforced lessons. But here's the good news, you don't have to figure it out all alone. The people that are opting in here will be like, what are you talking about? Like, this is not the conversation that we had. Somehow we are putting out a generic ad and then we're talking about something completely different in our emails, right? And then we wonder why after the first open rates, our open rates and click rates go down, right? It's because we never, like, we started the conversation in a completely different thing, which is, do you want a random but gorgeous and potentially helpful free thing? Okay, there you go. And now I want to talk with you about something completely different, right? So that does not make sense. And then what people typically do is like, what's next? It's overwhelming, right? So inside my membership, I help homeschooling moms like you, which we never filtered for, create an environment where reading and learning in general happens naturally without stress battles, constant second guessing. If I come from the generic ad and generic ad copy, I don't even care about this, right? So this goes right over my head. If you've been craving a simpler, more intuitive way to homeschool, you're going to love what we're building inside. Come see what's inside. You're doing amazing. In a world where this is nurturing towards the sale more quickly and where it started with the right conversation, we're continuing the right conversation. Okay, so what does that look like? Your reading worksheets are here. Hey, your gentle reading worksheets are ready. Download them here. Now, really important, next step is we need to create a way for them to get to know us, ideally on video. We can also do video even without our face so that they just hear our voice, but we want our leads to spend time with us as soon as possible. In my welcome emails, I do send people to the replay of my last ads workshop, and I sent them to a podcast interview where I was interviewed from the school stories, right? So I want them to immediately have high quality video touch points with me so I can fill up that know, like, and trust faster, right? Every minute spent with me on video is worth so much when it comes to creating that nurture down from lead to sale. So try to do that immediately and complementary with the resource that people just downloaded. If you're curious about how this actually works in real life, I just released a YouTube video where I share exactly how I helped my kids learn to read without a single forced lesson. Again, this is just an example. I'm not educated enough about unschooling, but just to give you an example, right, how it would naturally continue the conversation and expand into a long form type video that would be interesting for this type of person that opted in because of the ad copy. Before you jump in, I need to tell you something that completely changed the way I homeschool, something that made me rethink everything I've been taught about learning and gave my kids the freedom to fall in love with reading on their own terms. When I first started homeschooling, I believed my job was to teach my kids to read. That meant phonics drills, structured lessons, careful planned reading time, and if I'm honest, a lot of stress. Because despite my best efforts, my kids weren't responding to the way I expected. They resisted, they got frustrated, I got frustrated, and no matter how many programs I tried, I always felt like I was forcing something that wasn't ready to happen yet. Then one day I stopped, not because I gave up, but because I realized something. Kids don't need to be forced to learn. They are already wired to learn. Think about it. Babies learn to walk without structured lessons. Toddlers absorb language without grammar drills. Kids learn through curiosity, exploration, and play, but the moment we turn learning into a chore, the joy disappears. So I let go of control, stop obsessing over the progress. I trusted that my kids would learn to read when they were ready, and that made sense to them. And you know what happened? They did. Not through force, not through frustration, but through stories, conversations, games, and real world experiences that made reading feel like an adventure, not an assignment. I know how scary it feels to step away from the things we've always done. We've been conditioned to believe that if learning isn't structured, it won't happen. But I can tell you from my experience, the moment you stop forcing it, something magical happens. This is exactly why I created, right? So, backstory. And of course, this is a fictitious character made up with AI. This needs to be truthful, right? And based on your experience. But what was like, how did we get here, right? So people are like, hi there, here's your thing, buy my offer. And this member, I didn't, for example, see her follow up. So I'm not referring back to this member, but it's typically what I say, right? So it's like, typically what I see is, here's your thing, now buy my offer. But people need to know, like, here's my thing, this is who I am, let me contribute value, let me, you hear my voice, let me spend time with you. By the way, this is what got us here, and here's what's meaningful, and here's the lesson that I want to share with you, and here's how I can help. Inside you find, this is something that I would refine just a little bit to really show like the deliverables, and then come inside. And now another thing is, after a lead generation campaign, you need to add a limited time offer. Like, there needs to be some sense of urgency for people to make that decision right now, right? And this applies to a low ticket and a high ticket as well. A high ticket you probably wouldn't sell directly from the email. You would either send people to pre-recorded webinar, masterclass, etc., from where they can check out or book a call, or you would lead them to book a call, right? Or a paid session. That's fine. You want to give a limited time bonus to do any of that. And if it's a membership offer, right, or a lower priced mid-ticket course, you want to give a really strong 72-hour bonus that encourages them to take you up on the offer. And because when they got their welcome email is timestamped, you can really see, did they join within that amount of time, and then give them the special bonus. And of course, if you're doing special bonuses, you need to do reminder emails, 48 hours, 24 hours, and then ideally 12, 6 free hours. This will depend a little bit on your niche, but you have to kind of be loud and make sure to get through in the inbox. And after that, you continue with value. So you'll see also higher unsubscribe rates from this, not necessarily from the first email, sometimes even from the first email, because the people who really just wanted the thing, they get off like right away, which is good for you, because then you don't have to pay the email marketing tool, but also from the promotion. But the people who do stay on the list typically then convert faster. And in an ideal world, you also start to see the first sales here if your limited time bonus is really attractive, and if the messaging of your offer in general and your backstory and that video are on point. And this is how you get to nurture and eventually convert your leads much faster. So key takeaways: put a lot of thought into what you're selecting, and then make sure that it's a filter and it's a primer. And then know that the follow-up is just as important as the ad, and that it can never succeed if the ad is not doing its job and it's just getting us random people in for free. All right, so I hope you found this insightful, and if you have any questions, drop them below. I'll see you in another one. Bye for now.